You've been called back by the company you gave your full presentation to for a second visit. They have asked you to speak only about the ethical aspects of the problem and to explain why your solution successfully handles any ethical issues. You will have 10 minutes. There will be no question and answer period. You may not use slides or video. You probably don't want to have more than 2 to 3 members of your team do this. And if you can just give me a quick thumbs up if you heard and understood. Wonderful, I'm seeing that. And with that, I will part with the microphone and let you begin.
Thank you so much. My name is Jamie Getty. I am the Chief Ethics Officer.
My name is Aidan Flint, and I am the Chief Financial Officer.
My name is Gabriella Pergament, and I'm the Chief Legal Officer of Amet Consulting.
So we would like to thank you for bringing us back to talk about some of the ethical issues regarding Tesla's lithium batteries. We took your suggestions into consideration and were able to implement them into our discussion on ethics today. First, we will be talking about how lithium batteries are affecting the environment, and then we will dive deeper into other ethical issues around Tesla's batteries. I would like to first start out by discussing who is really paying for Tesla's batteries. Electric cars are often associated with a green movement towards a more sustainable future. However, it is often important to question how green and ethical that future really is. As a frontrunner in the green movement, it is unethical for Tesla to take shortcuts and negatively impact the environment. I will first be discussing how the environment is impacted from lithium batteries. While electric cars do not release carbon emissions directly from driving them, there are many ways in which electric cars emit pollution. First, charging cars is not as sustainable as we may think. This practice would be extremely sustainable if the source of charging these batteries were from renewable sources like wind or solar energy. However, the majority of cars are not charging from these sources. When considering the amount of charge that Tesla's batteries need to run, it is actually found that they produce more carbon emissions than the average car. As opposed to using natural gas, electric cars are found mainly to run on coal due to the source of their charging stations. In fact, purely electric cars are found to have higher carbon emissions than not only gas cars, but also than hybrid cars. With a push towards renewable sources for energy and charging stations, we may see this trend start to change or significantly change in the near future. However, there is a disadvantage to the environment due to lithium batteries. And with that, I'd like to hand over my presentation to my partner, Aidan.
Thank you, Jamie. I will now begin to speak on why mining is hard on the climate and the environment, especially with regards to lithium and nickel mining. Firstly, I'll be talking about nickel mining. Nickel mining releases greenhouse gases and contaminates the ecosystems in the surrounding area of the mine. Some of the largest nickel mines in the world have been found previously to have polluted local water sources, hurt local ecosystems, and destroyed farmland in the area due to leakage from their wastewater. This issue is also continuing after the nickel mine is decommissioned, because after a nickel mine is used, the soil in the area has been heavily polluted by both wastewater and other materials from the mines. These altered chemical properties make it hard for wild plants to grow back in the area, which greatly impacts the chance of future ecosystem growth, as if the plants are not able to return to this area, then most likely the animals will not return as well. This also is a bigger issue when you consider that many of the world's largest nickel producing mines are also located in some of the most biodiverse ecosystems on the planet. These ecosystems are already struggling to maintain their diverse populations, with both global warming and deforestation taking an issue with them, and this mining issue with the soil being polluted is not helping this issue. I will now talk about some lithium mining issues. Also associated with lithium mining is the issue of polluting water and depleting water sources in the area. For example, in China in 2016, dead fish began to litter a river after a local lithium mining site began to leak into the water. This caused a massive die-off of fish in the area, and this not only affected the ecosystem of the river, but it also affected the local population that relied on this river for food and water. Another example of this is that the deaths of livestock, such as cows, have also occurred as a result of lithium mine leakages. Herds have been found dead after drinking water that had been polluted by water from lithium mines. Another issue with this is that the process for mining lithium is highly water intensive, and lithium is often found in some of the driest regions of the world. This means that this combination between process of mining and the location it is placed in means it leads to long-term water depletions in areas that cannot afford it. This process pumps large amount of waters into a salt brine, which then evaporates and the lithium is mined from the materials that are left behind. This brine is then polluted with lithium waste as a result, and leakage can occur if it is not properly handled so that the surrounding soil can become polluted as well. This is also a bigger issue when you consider that many lithium mines, such as the ones in Chile, are around farmland, which means that this farmland can become polluted and made unusable by this pollution. Moving away from these mines by decreasing their dependence through a partnership with Li-Cycle, as we mentioned yesterday, will help Tesla continue their goal towards becoming a more sustainable and environmentally friendly company. I will now pass it on to Gabriella.
Thank you, Aiden. Next, I will be discussing the human rights issues involved with the production of lithium batteries that we have previously discussed in our presentation yesterday. In the DRC, cobalt mining has led to many human rights issues. About 70% of the world's cobalt mining comes from the DRC, of which 40% proves to be very unethical. 40,000 children as young as 4 years old have been found mining in dangerous conditions for as little as $1 a day. Many of these children are forced into labor due to their lack of family income. In fact, many of these children have to choose between basic human needs such as starving or not having clothes as opposed to working in the mines. These children need to work in order to go to school because the costs of $10 to $30 a month are too much for their parents to afford, and sometimes the mining job often can't even cover the costs of months. Lastly, these children are being used for their lack of understanding in the industry. Children are exploited in the industry because they don't know how much their products are actually worth and only get paid when they sell the materials. Therefore, children are blindly accepting offers given to them because if they don't, they will not make money and are likely to get abused by security guards when they don't accept. In addition to the cruel environments in which developing children work, they are exposed to large amounts of toxic chemicals, which often make them ill. Diseases associated with cobalt mining include hard metal lung disease, which is a rare disease caused by inhaling either cobalt or tungsten carbide. Hard metal lung disease is fairly easy to catch when working in these mines, and children don't have to spend their entire lives even working to catch it. It's often deadly as well, and children have a large disadvantage considering their lack of money to afford proper medical care. However, cobalt mining is not the only industry with human rights issues. Other industries also face extreme poverty, and larger companies are even shutting down individual businesses, such as small farms, and underpaying workers as well. Lastly, I will be discussing the waste of lithium battery materials. Within about the last year, only about 2 to 4% of lithium was actually recycled. However, this process is not efficient and often involves high energy usage to recycle. When lithium is disposed, it has the potential to pollute and cause dangerous chemical fires. Many technologies used to extract lithium to recycle it are actually made from lithium, which leads back to the problem of extracting more lithium. Also, extracting lithium and attempting to recycle the materials is often dangerous because lithium is extremely sensitive to high heat, and the extraction process relies on high temperatures. On the other hand, recycling nickel is easier and more commonly practiced than recycling lithium. However, with the increasing production of nickel, there are still large amounts of nickel being disposed of. In fact, many nickel companies are looking into deep sea disposal. Indonesia has recently banned the deep sea disposal of nickel due to the environmental impacts. However, they're one of the only countries to do so. In fact, many companies are relying more heavily on this type of disposal due to lower costs, even though there are very negative effects for the ocean. The purpose of deep sea disposal is to push the waste down far enough where it cannot have a large effect on the more productive upper levels of the ocean. However, this has been found not to be the true outcome of deep sea disposal. For example, coral reefs are heavily impacted by the chemical makeup of the ocean and are already a dying ecosystem. Nickel disposal has been shown to hurt their coral reef ecosystem even further, thus proving that the deep sea disposal does not stay in the bottom areas of the ocean because coral reefs are found in shallow waters. Additionally, many animals spread nickel throughout the food web, and the deep sea disposal is having impacts on many levels of the ocean. It also leads to ocean warming and acidification, which contributes to global warming and dying plant and animal species. Now I'd like to pass it back on to Jamie to conclude our presentation.
Thank you, Gabriella. In conclusion, Tesla's lithium batteries may not be as ethical as we think. At the end of the day, it is not Tesla customers who are paying the price of the Tesla batteries. The real price is being paid by the environment, ecosystems, animals, the children in the DRC, and other lower class individuals who pay a much higher price than Tesla's consumers. The goal of Tesla should be to shift the price tag from these undeserving parties back onto themselves and own up to their duties as a company. Our recommendation is to partner with Li-Cycle in order to help recycle the batteries. This would help Tesla be uninvolved with some of the ethical issues regarding the lithium batteries in terms of mining and in terms of the human rights violations. When recycling the batteries, Tesla would also be able to become a truly green company and be more sustainable. This would be an ethical practice because Tesla is one of the front runners in the green movement. It is Tesla's responsibility to uphold the expectations of the community and truly perform as an environmentally friendly company. In addition, Tesla really should not be supporting the human rights violations of the DRC. In order to provide humanitarian aid to the children of the DRC, Tesla can no longer support the current work conditions. To act ethically as a company, partnering with Li-Cycle is a good first step. Thank you so much for your time today.